And we are live. Oh, welcome, mystery, thriller, true crime, and all book fans. I'm your host and author, Sara DiVello, and I am so excited to welcome today the incredible Leslie Zemeckis. She is a book critic, an award-winning documentary filmmaker, an actor, last seen in a period costume in the best-selling movie Here, and she's a best-selling author in her own right. Leslie, welcome to Mystery and Thriller Mavis. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's a great way to start off the year with you.
Yay! This
Talking
is
books.
Talking books, two of our favorite things to talk about. And Leslie, you are, not only a book critic, but you have one of the last in print book columns in the country in the very glamorous exclusive enclave of Montecito, home to Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, Oprah, so many celebrities. You have got an incredible audience. And again, like one of the last few book critics who still have a print column as well as online. So I am so excited to talk to you. And we had so many people submit questions in advance. We are also broadcasting live to 8 destinations across Facebook and YouTube. And I see people are already logging on. Sharon is joining us from YouTube. Hi, Sharon. She says, hi, Sara and Leslie. I'm so happy to see you today. We're happy to see you, Sharon. We have Robin joining us from Facebook saying, hello, Sara and Leslie. Hi, Robin. Happy New Year. So, Leslie, let's start off with something that I got over and over in the questions, and that is, how do you choose the books that you choose to review and showcase in your column? Because I know you get pitched like thousands of pitches from publicists, publishers, authors themselves. How do you make those tough choices?
Well, it started with my column writing towards the audience that's in Montecito, a little more educated, sophisticated, well-traveled. And then from that kind of expanding. So I want smart reads and I want a diverse read so that I can kind of push them maybe towards a genre that they wouldn't necessarily have read. It's not that I don't go for New York Times bestselling authors, but there is that. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for really great authors who maybe aren't going to get those platforms, but people need to read. I like very emotional books. I don't care what genre it is. I want to be moved. And, honestly, it starts with the title and it starts with the book. I mean, I'm a visual artist. As a filmmaker, as an author, I see things. So it is partly just what does that cover look like? Who wrote it? And does that intrigue me? And then I'll read a little bit about it. I don't actually like reading the backs of books because they give so much away. I want to be surprised. I want to be surprised in my reading. And I'll stick with the book, even if I don't like it, over the first couple pages. But if an author is a good writer really quickly. They just suck you in with the story, the way they present it, a hook, their words, and it's really the work that keeps me reading, but I'm looking across different genres, authors I don't know, as well as there's always going to be an author like I'm going to read everything they write.
Oh, I love that. So who have been some authors that are on Leslie Z's must-read list? Who are those authors that you are just, dying to read everything you want?
This is last year. And I tell this to everybody, and then it should be a movie. I think she maybe has a deal. The Quiet Tenant, which I told you about. Clemence, I'm probably like slaughtering her name, Michelin, French. If this is what I talk about, if you read too much of the back of the book, I was like, oh, this is so off-putting. This is so uncomfortable. I was immediately sucked into it. It is an incredible book about somebody who was kidnapped. And that's all I'm going to say. It's from different points of view. It's absolutely astounding. It is really, really good. Another one I discovered this year, I think it just came out in paperback this year, it was maybe out last year, was Becoming the Boogeyman by Richard Chisman. I'm probably slaughtering everybody's names. I apologize. He works often with, he co-writes with Stephen King a lot. This book is not. He writes this thriller as if he's a character in this book. It's fiction, but you don't know it. And there's pictures in it, and you keep going, no, this must have happened, even though it did. He's a really, really page-turning author. Amazing. There was a book called Every Moment Since, Mary Beth Whalen, that is another. These are all thrillers that I picked for your audience. I like thrillers. I mentor a writing group for young women, and I tell them, no matter what genre you're writing in, read thrillers, read mysteries. How do they hook you? How does that keep you going? So as you, as an author of any genre, can take some of that. So this book, Every Moment Since, is so emotional, like deep, deep sadness, but it's just a beautiful, beautiful story.
And we have Renee joining us from Facebook. She wants to know, was it scary? She's hiding. And I'm not sure if she's talking
which
about
one?
The Stephen King book. Yeah.
It's not a Stephen King. It's Richard Chismar, Becoming the Boogeyman. It's creepy.
Ooh, okay.
It's creepy. Now, The Quiet Tenant's creepy and scary, and it's got a great climax. You're like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? I like to be scared. It doesn't often happen in books, really, but you can get that creepy feeling, and you get the sense of it.
Ooh.
And, yeah, I mean,
you have Sharon saying she loved Becoming the Boogeyman. Okay, you are in the right place.
And he actually has one before that. I think it's Finding the Boogeyman or something. I actually didn't know about it until I read this one, but I would go back and read it. He's an incredible writer. And I kind of like that he put himself in this, even talks about Stephen King writing with him. So I like that he made himself a character in this. It's very clever and different.
That is clever and different.
Yeah. Another one was All the Colors of the Dark, which was a New York Times bestselling author, Chris Whitaker. He's on the list that I will read anything he writes.
Ooh, I did not read that. I'm dying to. Yeah.
Oh my God. And his first book before this, which I don't remember the name off the top of my head, he's such a beautiful writer. Chasing the Boogeyman. Thank you, Sharon. Was the very first one of this Boogeyman series.
We have your fellow Californian, Ms. Megan Beatty, saying is a wonderful champion of books and authors. I love her social posts and her Montecito Journal book column.
Thank you. Thank you. It's really grown. It was, I only used to have like so many words, and I would have to try and get in as many books, and they've really let me expand the page, and so I can get in as many authors and books as possible. They've been great. It's had a great response.
You have Megan, sending you so much love with black hearts here. I love to see, because you own the entire page now. I mean, you have your whole page is literally your page. So that's so cool to know that you've grown it to that. Leslie, so when you say that these, that these are great books, that these are great storytellers, what makes a book great? Are you able to, because I can't even identify because you're a best-selling author yourself. So you have a really unique perspective as a reviewer and an author to look at it from almost a craft perspective and say, this is what reeled me in, or, this is what made it so great for me. And you're also an award-winning documentary filmmaker, again, a visual storyteller. So
yeah, I think, it's the visual. It's like, am I envisioning this story as it's being told? Am I ahead of the story? So really good story, you're not ahead of it. You're trying to put it together, especially if it's a mystery or a thriller, as it's going along. And I don't want twists and turns just for the sake of it. Like, oh, they'll never expect this. And you can tell when that's in a book. But if it's really smartly crafted for the story, more than for what a publisher or an agent is looking for. And you can see it. There's this we've talked about it a little bit about, there's this pressure for certain authors to get a book out every year. God bless them if they can. I see the work suffer because of it.
Yes. Yes.
Very much so. You know, a really good author, then I see like the next one's out and it's just not as, it's refined. It's like, I've got however many months it is to get it out and publish it. And then I'm on the next one and the next one. I think it doesn't do anybody, publisher, agent, author, a service to do that. I mean, there's some people, like Stephen King says he writes a book in like 2 months or something, because that's what he does. He writes 6 pages a day, but they're, very well crafted. Some people can do it. A lot of people, I think, are just fighting against that wheel, if you would have it. So it's a book that somebody took time with in their story and their crafting. I like to be hooked. I don't want a slow build at the very beginning. It can happen in the middle, because I'll stick with the book, but I don't want it in the beginning. I want somebody to just go, this is what the book is. Are you going to stay with me? And it's too much pressure for most authors.
Yeah,
Renee, it is.
I think requiring a book yearly is too much pressure for more authors. I totally agree. And Leslie, you and I were talking about this the other day, and I see the same thing, for my series. I can tell when I read a book that has taken time to marinate, that has taken time to ripen, and that book is going to be a richer reading experience for me than a lot that are cranked out in a year. Yeah. Sharon has a question. She wants to know, Leslie, do you write fiction and nonfiction? Tell us about your books, Leslie.
Mine have all been nonfiction, starting with the history of burlesque. I am finishing up a fiction book, a historical fiction, based on my documentary that's currently out called Grand Horizontals, about courtesans during the Second Empire. It depends on if I do a movie or a book, how I feel the subject. It's either going to be one or the other. I didn't want to do this person who was real as a nonfiction. I felt I could get into her story fiction, because it's going to be told by her point of view. So I'm almost done with that, and we'll hopefully get it to my agent soon. But she's got another one we're working on selling too, which is nonfiction.
Yay! And Leslie has written 3 incredible best-selling books. One about the history of burlesque, which also you turned into an award-winning documentary film behind the.
It actually started as the film first, and there were so many stories. I just said I'm going to write a book about this, which nobody wanted to publish. No agent wanted to do it, and then finally I got a publisher, and it's like a top pick in Amazon, and it's in bookstores and everything. And from that, everything just kind of evolves off. It's these women who were really marginalized and stigmatized, and their stories were never told. And from that, I wrote about Lily Sincere, who was one of the biggest dancers in burlesque. Marilyn Monroe followed her around and copied her. She was super influential in her day. And then my third book was about Sally Rand and Faith Bacon, that were big fan dancers in their day. And all these women, people dismissed them for their work, their misconceptions behind that work. So that's kind of what I gravitate towards, is revealing these stories that haven't been told before.
I love your work, Leslie. Leslie is such a beautiful, powerful, poignant storyteller. I have had the pleasure of reading Leslie's books, and I also love, of course, the stories of powerful and largely ignored women, and you bringing these stories to light is just so powerful. Leslie also did an incredible TEDx talk about immortalizing these stories of women. I'm going to post the link below. But yes, I love how you specialize in telling the stories of the stigmatized and the marginalized and unheard women.
It's just so many times it's this thing again about, it's whether it's movies or books, what's the popular thing? What's the next thing? Instead of what, as a storyteller, do you want to tell? And finding stories that way. As a reader, I want to read about places that I haven't been, during times that I haven't lived. I don't want to read just, another of the same. So I look for that when I'm looking at my pile of books of what I'm going to read and what I'm going to bring to my audience and say, look, you got to read this. This is fascinating.
Exactly, exactly. And Renee is saying that, like you, she also is drawn to visualize stories. She says, I also visualize the stories. If I can't, I usually have to stop reading.
Yeah.
Exactly, Renee.
And you know, an author can paint a picture in many different ways. They can do it sparsely, like say a la Hemingway, or they can do it with really a lot of prose. It doesn't matter if it's good writing, it's good writing, and you'll be able to visualize it either way. I From all this, I started a mentoring group, as I mentioned, called Stories Matter for women, young girls, college age, to tell their stories. And it's like, don't think about, you know, what is going to be popular, what are people looking for out there. It's like, what story do you want to tell? Most of them, it's really interesting, end up telling the story of their grandmother, who's usually not alive, but that was really influential in their life, usually came from another country, had a really hard time, but overcame a lot of stuff. And the stories are incredible.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that you did that. And I've read some of the ones because I know you get them. Your goal is to get every single mint
Yeah.
published. And I've had I always read them when you share them, and they're so fantastic.
Yeah, they really are.
Well, I'm posting the link to Becoming the Boogeyman so that people can grab that. And
So good.
yeah, and I want to know, so what other books really hooked you?
Well, there's a book out that so far I know it's only like the third day of, or it's the sixth day. It's called, let me see if I can find it. Women. Oh God.
Oh, thanks
Let
for
me
all the
get it.
hearts on Facebook, you guys. Thank you.
It's Women Reporting on Women in War, something like that. It's
Ooh.
Ukrainian author who's no longer with you, us.
Oh
They tell
no.
you that straight up. The book's unfinished. It's incredible.
Oh,
Incredible.
wow.
Stories of everyday women who are fighting this war in Ukraine and what they're going through and the losses that they're suffering. This book is just insane.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard about that. Again, wow.
It's not out till February.
Oh, it's not too right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I you know, again, bringing those stories to you know, that maybe we haven't heard of to light. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for getting that book on our radar.
Oh.
Yay. So that is on the nonfiction side. Obviously, some great thrillers on your radar, and we clearly
And
love a good thriller.
there's people that like Joe Nesbo. Like, can you write faster, please? It's like he's one I want him to do a book, you know, every month.
Can we put the
He's
squeeze
so
on
good.
Joe Nesbo? Now, Leslie, I know you were just recently in Iceland, speaking of Joe
Yes.
Nesbo, at the Iceland Noir Writers and Book Conference, speaking there. How was that for you?
That was incredible. And that's another writer, Ragnar Johansson. I hope I'm not slaughtering it because I know you, Ragnar, who writes Agatha Christie type books. He's an international bestseller. He started this festival. He's another one, although he writes faster. So they do come out that you wait for those kind of books, and they're immersive. And he writes about these crimes, fiction in Iceland. And the festival was incredible. It was super well attended. And these are dark stories. I love noir writers. I'll go through a period where I have to stop reading them because usually they're super violent against women. But I want to read about that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I want those experiences that I don't want in life.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
that's where I want my drama. I'm like a person that doesn't have drama in I mean, I like having arguments with my husband, but I want to read about all that. You know, it's like, yeah, and violent killing and like all this like horrible stuff. It's great.
Exactly. And you know, it's interesting because one time when I was interviewing Karen Slaughter, someone asked her, Karen, how can you write such violent books featuring violence against women? And she said that it's always so fascinating to her when people say, oh, how could you do this, and clutch their pearls? Because what she writes about is not 1/100th of what happens to women in real life. And so she says it's interesting that people object to seeing it on the page. Oh, thank you for all the hearts, you guys, on Facebook. Bouquets of hearts are coming up for us, Leslie. But object to it on the page, but don't want to face the fact of it, or start to have the conversation about it in real life. So I totally agree with you. I want to read about it on the page. Let's keep the dramas at the page.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't need any of that in my life, but
yes,
bring it on in the books. And that's another thing. It was interesting. I was reading, I don't know where it was from, talking about why those type of books during the pandemic were so popular. And I think it's just to get you out of whatever, it's you just, let's go escape. And I'm not a person who reads a lot of romance or science fiction, but give me dark, violent, crime. I'm all for it.
Exactly. Same.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So what else is catching your eye, Ms. Leslie Zemeckis?
Well, let me see. I've got all my notes. I have, who we didn't talk about, who we both know and love, is Puzzle Box, Danielle Trussoni. And I'm wondering if she's going to have a third book. She's a super smart writer, and you learn stuff that you wouldn't know. It's set in Japan, a lot of it. So I like that. I like all this newness, and I like, again, she's got a really broken character who's struggling, and I think she'll do another one because I don't think the story's over.
I do not think the story's over. I hope the story is not over. I love Mike Brank. I love his little dog Conundrum. Oh my God, little Connie. I love Connie. And I think Danielle Trussoni is one of the best authors out there, one of the strongest writers out there. She's
very smart.
Craft and her ability to plot a really intricate web of multiple themes at once and tie it all together is brilliant. Also, her prose is beautiful. She is an
absolutely
incredible writer. Oh, Renee is saying, I love her writing. Yes. Sharon saying, I met Danielle and she is amazing. Robin saying, sorry, Sarah and Leslie, I can't do the continued violence to women. I totally understand, Robin. I get it. It is hard to read about. And I should clarify, I don't do gory and I don't do sexual violence. I can't do that.
Yeah, that's hard.
No, I won't do that.
But it's like, I like also that usually, not always, but in a fiction book, there's a lot of overcoming.
Yes.
In nonfiction, not so much. I read a really good book about the Giglio murders. It was that guy who was raping and murdering girls, but it's all about the victims. It's barely about him. It's really, really good. I don't know how you say Giglio Beach Murders.
The guy in
who was like this normal guy with a family living there. But the book was all about the victims, which was, really went in depth about them.
Yeah, let's keep the focus on the women.
Absolutely.
And Robin saying she loved the Puzzle Box too, and the first one, yes, the Puzzle Master. That's so brilliant. And we need a third book, Danielle Trussoni. She better be writing right now as we talk.
Well, after she watches this, then she.
Clearly after that.
Another book I read that I've featured actually this month. It's out this month. The Unbecoming of Margaret Wolfe is about two Shakespearean actors and a little mayhem that happens when the company goes on the road in like Arizona or something, and it's
The Unbecoming of Margaret Wolfe.
Margaret Wolfe by Lisa Arson. It's super sexy. That is what I love about you, Leslie Zemeckis. You put books on my radar that I have not even heard of. And I'm pretty, I try to keep my finger on the pulse, but you are just coming up with, with books and I love your eye. Everybody's, eye is so different. And I just love your eye for books. I can't wait to read this one. Just even the title is an automatic yes for me. It's really good and it's really different and it's really sexy.
Ooh, sexy.
I mean, it's like something that if they would hire me, I'd be the director on it. It would be amazing.
Oh my,
Not that they are, but anybody out there listening.
okay. Well, I mean, I am ready for that, Leslie Zemeckis. That sounds good. Renee says, wait, so you like a sexy book, Leslie?
Oh, yeah. But now what I consider sexy might not be what somebody else considers sexy.
Oh yeah, because we're not talking actual sex scenes. We're just talking glamorous, or what is it?
Well, there actually is some sex scenes in this.
Okay, tell us. What makes a sexy book sexy for you? Oh, people are laughing with us. What makes
I don't know, and I don't want to give anything away on this book in particular, but it is some. And it was pretty wild.
Woo.
Yeah.
What makes a book sexy for me are sumptuous details. So, whether it's describing the beautifully decorated, space, whether it's a very glamorous location or the texture of, a sumptuous fabric of silk or velvet or a delicious food. Eating can be super sexy. There is a lot of ways to be sexy on the page. Oh, okay. Renee's clarifying. Do you like romance? She's asking, do you like romance?
I would say no.
Okay.
And yet, I, sobbed when I read Colleen Hoover's, It Ends With Us or whatever, which sat on my shelf forever because I'm like, I don't like this, but I was like, okay, I'll read it, and just sobbed. It's not. I just don't gravitate towards that genre.
Yeah. Okay. That's what. Oh, so Renee is clarifying because you said at the beginning at the beginning that you didn't like that you don't like romance, and then you were saying, oh yes, that you liked this sexy book. So we're just clarifying.
Yeah. The Unbecoming of Margaret Wolf is not a romance book whatsoever, even though it's sexy.
But you found it sexy. Okay. Okay. Got it.
Yes. Yes. Very much so.
Sharon says, I am writing down all of your book recommendations. Do you have the exact name or author name of the nonfiction Woman in War books? Is it?
Give me her name's
Women of Ukraine by
Columbia. Here it is. Wait, I just found it.
Oh, good.
It is. Okay. And this is incredible. I'm sure it will be the book of the year. Looking at Women, Looking at War, Victoria Amelina.
Ooh, looking at women. Okay, I'm going to pop it up in the thing. Popping up in the comments. Okay,
it doesn't publish till February.
Okay,
and it's so heart-wrenching. But it's like there are things we forget happening in the world that we will never, hopefully, be a part of. Won't happen to us. We don't have to come home and we assume our house is going to be there and not the whole block is gone.
Right.
So she was a writer. And then when Ukraine was invaded, she decided to help investigate war crimes. Okay. And she talked to a lot of different women throughout this whole book. It's really incredible, the bravery of this woman in particular, and then the people that she's writing about.
Wow. Yeah. And I'm looking at it right now, and even the cover is just so gorgeous.
Yeah. So, and she didn't live, that's right up front, unfinished book.
Yeah, exactly. And yes. Oh, wow. Heartbreaking. Yeah. I'm just going to pop up. I think I can actually share my screen. So I'm just going to pop this up. Here we have the beautiful cover. Yeah. Because it just is, you can see everything in her face. Thank you. Oh, Leslie, what a great recommendation. Thank you so much. Okay, great. Everyone's saying thank you so much for this. Okay, good. So Leslie, what else is on your radar right now?
Well, I just pitched a new documentary to my agent today. So fingers crossed that I really want to do, and I'm going to do somehow.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait.
Yeah. Going to San Miguel Writers in February. I'll see you there.
Oh, my.
So I'm getting my workshops together and all that.
So Leslie, tell us about that. So I'm actually so excited. So both Leslie and I have been invited to be speakers at the incredible San Miguel Writers Conference, a renowned international festival. And Leslie, you'll be offering the incredible opportunity of having one-on-one consultations with you. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, I'm doing a talk on writer's life. And then also, a lot of people don't know how to control your interview. You know, you get 3 minutes on this show once your book comes out, and like, you know, you can't meander around and talk about your dog. You just got to get, you know, like you got to get the information that you want in. And it's to really help people get out of there. Oh, but I'm shy and all this. It's like, who cares? You're selling a book and these are the facts that you need to sell it. And just helping authors in particular, use their voice, you know, create a character, whatever you got to do. You've got to sell that book. You've got to take the time, and there's ways to do it. I mean, I've done 5 billion interviews. So
yes, I just saw you do an incredible interview with an Australian news channel, because Leslie.
Oh yeah, for Polar Express.
Leslie, fun fact about Leslie Zemeckis, Leslie was the co-star of The Polar Express, one of the most beloved holiday movies ever. And actually, you know, it was not just the voice. She was a full body actor with these sensors all over your body. Leslie, that must have been a crazy experience.
Yeah, it was, because that was the first time anybody had done it. And then to see it evolve, I've done maybe 3 or 4, and how the technology has evolved really quickly.
Oh my God.
Great. It's exciting. You can do so much with it, but people do have a misunderstanding. They think it's just a voice, but it's not. You're actually, if my arm is going like that, that's what the character's arm is doing.
Oh my God. Sharon is saying, this is so cool. It is so cool. It is so cool. Well,
great technology.
You have so many cool fires in the iron, you know, just back from Iceland, heading to San Miguel to share your incredible wealth of knowledge there.
I'm working on a pilot for a series at the end of the month, and finishing up another film. and then I'll start prepping for another mentoring session in April. And then I've got class too. So there is that.
Well, you can follow all of Leslie's incredible adventures on Instagram. She is a very entertaining person to follow. So she's right here. I'm popping it up, whether you're watching with us on Facebook or YouTube. Here is the link to go follow Leslie Zemeckis. She also has the most adorable pet pigs, little tiny piggies. Oh my God, they're so cute.
They're not really so little. They're little fatties. They're so cute. I walk by them a million times a day, and I have to like stop and just rub them and play. And they're awesome. God. They're amazing.
I want to meet your piggies someday. Renee is saying so cool. It is so cool. And you also have pet flamingos, and you have a dog, and you have just so many fun adventures. Leslie is a highlight of my feed, keeping me wildly entertained on Instagram. So everyone go follow her many adventures over there. Yay. Well, we are out of time. Time flies when you are having this much fun. Leslie Zemeckis, thank you so much for coming on to tell us the inside scoop about what it's like to be a book critic at the Montecito Journal, what you look for, what makes a book pop out of the slush pile and onto the page, what great storytelling is. Thank you for all of this inside tea. Leslie Z spills the tea. Sharon saying, this has been such a fun and informative view. I would love to see you here again soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Renee saying,
and you can also, the Montecito Journal, it comes out monthly at the beginning of the month, and it's also online. So you can go look at past recommendations and current ones and everything.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
And Renee wants to know, wait, are they potbelly pigs?
One is, the other, they're all rescued. Actually, I have them in Italy also. One's potbelly. He's a big, fat belly. And the other one, I don't know what, but not huge. Not like a big 300-pounder. Probably 50. I don't know.
Oh my God. They're
adorable.
Cute. They are so cute. Robin is saying, thank you both so much for being here.
Happy New Year.
The link to the Montecito Journal. You can go check out Leslie's past recommendations and her future recommendations. Again, also, she always posts to Instagram. So follow her, and also be sure to check out the Montecito Journal. All right, y'all, that is a wrap for us here on Mystery Monday. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Thank you for all of your questions, all of your comments. And if we had some shy watchers with us today, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Amanda C, Amanda B. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Josephine, Donna, Priscilla, Laurie S, Laurie B, Barbara, Emily with an EY, Emily with an I. Thank you, Alan. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I can't even get to everybody, but I see you. Thank you for being here. And I will see you next Monday. May the days and the pages fly by.